My family used to know a guy that he would do like full, like Abrahamic, like sacrifice stuff
Of animals?
for their sins. Yeah.
Did he have Did he have an altar?
Yeah, I think it was a
Was it bronze?
stone altar in his backyard.
Lame, but dude, it's not lame. Well, it is lame.
Why is my immediate reaction that is super cool?
Because it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Not necessarily good.
All right, roll the intro.
Evening, officer. Is something wrong?
Don't worry, son. Routine traffic stop. We got reports of someone driving under the influence. You know anything about that?
Oh, wouldn't it be me? I'm only under one influence.
And what would that be?
The influence of Jesus.
It's time for Under the Influence.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
Welcome back to another episode of Under the Influence. I'm one of your three hosts, Jude Crane, joined by my brother
Jerry Crane.
and his brother. That's right. Together, we've embarked on this mystical journey, and this is currently episode
98.
3 of season 2.
Yes.
That's a whole year and a half of episodes we've been pumping out for you, and I hope you enjoy them.
It's not a year and a half.
It has been a
it
year
is
and a half.
One season is 6 months.
Well, it feels like a year and a half.
But we're
when I
on
have to
season
sit next to
2,
you.
2 times 6, 12, 12 months, 1 year, episode 3, 3 half of 6, half of a season, year and a half, 2 years and a half, 2.5 years.
Oh, I
Two and
guess
a half years.
2.5 years.
When you
6
explain-
seasons and a movie.
Yeah, when you explain it like that, I guess you're right.
Yeah. When I explain it like that.
It might feel like a year and a half also because it's been forever since we recorded.
that's
Been
true.
like
For the
4 months
listener-
since we actually recorded.
Yeah, 4 months.
The last time we recorded, I had COVID, and I didn't even know it. And now, I don't. So,
That's pretty crazy.
And he also doesn't have any more hair.
that's
Coincidence?
COVID took your hair.
True. I was trying a lot of alternative remedies.
You tried the Samson
And
treatment?
one involved
The
shaving my
Samson
head.
treatment, cutting off your
Yeah.
hair. To lose
Delilah's
your-
like, tell me
I
the
was
secret of how you got
holding
your
my
COVID.
head in the microwave and then just letting it run.
Oh my
I
gosh.
thought that might cure it.
Yeah,
And that is medical advice.
from you.
Sanctioned.
Yikes.
Okay, I think we
Not by UTI.
legally,
And
like,
by
I-
the
maybe
FDA.
like
Pretty sure we have to clarify that it's not, right? Does
But
you
it
know?
is.
But it's not.
I personally recommend. If you
Everything
have-
that Jude has ever said is a joke.
Yeah, quickly redact that.
If you, as a listener, catch yourself hearing Jude say something
At all.
tremendous in a way that is so tremendously serious, so there's kind of a gauge of what is humor and what is not, and it's something that especially is true with Jude and I sometimes. If it's so ridiculous, well, it's clearly humor. If it's normal, it might be humor, and then if it's really, really serious, more than likely it's humor.
Yeah.
Not always. And here's the great catch about all that. Also, sometimes what I just told you, you can't really use that metric.
That's true. You were being very serious.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, just sometimes it doesn't follow those rules.
But
The greatest rule of all those rules is that the rules always change.
It's an actual problem. Like when he proposed to his girlfriend, like she thought it was a joke
Yeah,
That's true.
because he was being.
Do you
so
remember
serious
that, Jude?
about it.
It hurt. Yeah. In front of an entire baseball stadium, but it's whatever. I'm not mad about it.
because she was like, "This seems like something you
she-
joke about." In
Of
front
course, she did
10,000
say
people.
she did say yes afterwards. Like once she like.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
sure of that.
we were still doing the bit where we're all single, but we're revealing now that Jude's married.
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted the podcast people to know that, but sorry for all my
The youngest
all my
amongst
fans.
us. The youngest amongst us
I'm married.
is
Yeah.
married.
I'm married. Yeah. So, quick example: if people are trying to decipher the humor, if I'm not married. I should float that because I was being like, "Yep, I'm married."
Yeah, that was
But
one of those.
like in
moments.
passing, if I was like, "Yeah, I mean, yeah, Levi's on a few criminal FBI watch lists," that would be serious.
That would be serious, of course.
yeah. Jerry.
Levi is not allowed to
even
go
talk
into
about it.
certain areas of the
Certain
I'm not going to say they're like
zones,
school
maybe
zones or
ones
anything,
where you have to slow down.
but he's not even allowed to be in them.
Yeah.
I think he's
And
really
it's not-
tired of that joke.
It's only
I mean, I would be.
my entire like friend history of
It's
you
like your
would be making
entire
that joke. So
Cabinet of material when it comes.
I think everyone in every friend group has like their shadow joke that goes with them. Like for Levi, it's that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the joke.
Wait, what is my shadow joke?
You throw things. You can't stop.
I think there's a few.
I like how mine is like
Levi
so
says-
hardcore.
Yeah, yours might have legal repercussions.
Yeah.
And then yours is just you throw things.
Yeah, but Jude makes the fact that I throw things, or the idea that I throw things, to be way more serious than the way he treats you about something that is a law.
If you're standing on one side of a room and Jerry's on the other, and you
This isn't true,
And
though.
hey, I'll be totally transparent. One of my weaknesses, and I'm being vulnerable with you guys, so don't laugh, is I leave drinks out all the time.
Okay.
Open drinks, closed drinks. Now, if
Why would
my
I laugh at
open
that? It's
drink
infuriating.
is on one side of the room and I'm on the other, and I go, "Hey, Jerry,"
I would never
He's
do
walking
this.
this way. He's walking this way.
Oh,
I'm not walking
He'll
this
just
way.
chuck it at
He's
you.
walking. He will grab my drink and throw it at me, and then I have to catch it, and I get spilled with.
No,
whatever I'm
no.
drinking. Or if there's like a baseball and we're playing catch or something, I'm underhand tossing
Yeah.
it to you. Or like
He just
let's say in this
overhands
scenario,
98 miles an hour.
I'm a
right
2-foot tall
chest.
toddler, and I'm tossing it to Jerry. As soon as Jerry gets his hands on that ball, he's going fast pitch, center mass to a child.
They have to learn, man, how to
Yeah.
catch something.
Jerry throws things all the time. If he's holding a baby, and the mother's like,
Here,
hey,
catch this microphone. You didn't catch it.
the horrible audio.
Yeah.
Jerry's shadow. He throws things. He throws people.
My shadow that, like, you look over in the corner of the room and there's just a shadow there that's like throwing something. Yeah. Yeah.
We're sitting here talking, and his shadow's just chucking shadow stuff at our shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know where your shadow is. Who knows where yours is?
In prison.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Only to be let out for like a ridiculously low bail, I'm sure.
Where are we? West Virginia. Wait.
I don't know, man.
Ohio?
Lately, stuff like that's been happening. There was a
All over
guy.
the place, yeah.
Okay, this I guess isn't necessarily too. Well, it is the definition of something that's politically charged, I guess, but it is something that I wanted to bring up with you guys, and I don't know if you heard about it. It's something I've been praying about. There was a, like, I think he was 16, 17, somewhere around there, kid who was like outspokenly conservative. And this adult man chased him down with his car and killed him.
Oh.
This isn't a joke. And in an interview, the guy, they were asked like why he did it, and he goes, "I did it because he's a Republican. We're supposed to kill them, right?"
He's mentally ill.
Wow.
Well, like,
I mean, if
He doesn't
he's not
sound
a
like he's-
Republican. I guess he's mentally ill.
No, but I mean, it's just crazy because he was just like,
where did this happen?
I don't remember.
No, he's like got a.
He was just like straight up, I killed him because he's the problem with America. And it doesn't matter whether or not he's right about conservatives being the problem with America. I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that they are the problem with America. Who cares? You don't do that. And then he was super, super entitled about it too afterward when he was like, he obviously went to jail. And then the thing I was referencing earlier about really low bail, they gave him a $50,000 bail.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he gave the police like, hey, they're like, whoa, you ran this guy over with your car and killed him. He got like intentional manslaughter or something like that. He didn't get charged with murder.
Intentional manslaughter. How does
Something
that
like
work?
that. I don't know what it was called, but I know
Intentional
manslaughter was.
manslaughter is murder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I know that the word manslaughter was in there. They didn't use the word murder.
Vehicular manslaughter.
Maybe. But it should be labeled as murder. But he admits to being like, oh yeah, I 100% did it, and I did it. Here's my motive. Like I had motive for doing it. It wasn't an accident. He's like, I did it on purpose. And they're like, well, you know what?
That sounds more like
You can hang out in here or give us 50 grand and you can go back out until we figure out what's going on. So that was crazy. And then in an interview after he got out about the $50,000 bail, he was complaining and saying like, I can't believe they made me pay that much. Like I have a life. I have bills. I have like stuff to do and I had to pay that much money to get out.
where Kyle Rittenhouse had like a $2 million bail.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like
Oh.
Kyle Rittenhouse, like I'm pretty sure it was like well over $1 million or some ridiculously high number. And whether you think what happened there was right or not, I mean I do. What does it sound?
That's your computer.
Oh, it's about to take off again. Oh, horrible! Sorry.
Yeah, I had no perception of like what bail costs. I'm not
I mean,
really
it's
involved in
set
that
based
world.
on usually the severity of.
Yeah, I knew that, but I was like, I don't know, because it's not like, oh, you just don't have to go to jail anymore. We paid your bail, so I didn't know
So-
if like manslaughter is a $50,000.
So the way the bail, bail, like you pay that
Christian
money,
bail.
so you don't have to sit in.
bite the money
So you don't have to sit in
until
jail.
you're trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. How it
Leading
works.
up.
I mean, there are some things too. I mean, where no bail is given because it's so severe.
Yeah.
You know, or somebody is
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
flight risk or
Or
an issue.
if
Or they'll
shadow
give
stuff.
a bail that's like, oh, we know this guy can't pay a $4 million bail, and then they give him a ridiculously high bail.
or the judge just has a thing against the guy.
Some like shadow activities, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. No, it was just crazy. I guess
is
maybe
crazy.
bringing that up at the front of the show is a yeah.
What do
But
you
it
guys
was
think about
just-
this? He killed a kid.
He killed somebody.
Yeah.
Intentionally. At the very least, he intentionally tried to hurt him, and the consequence was the kid died. And then he had the gall to be like, I'm inconvenienced. I have a life. You know who doesn't have a life? The kid you killed. Well, I'm
How'd the
inconvenienced.
kid die?
Huh?
How'd the kid die?
I don't specifically know. I would imagine from being hit, like crushed. But
Oh, so he hit him with his car.
he hit him with his car, yeah. And then the kid died as a result of
He
it.
threw his car at him.
He picked his car up and he threw it across the parking lot. Like the Incredible Hulk.
Sir, can you explain how you just lifted your entire 2020
He's a Republican, that's
Ford
how.
F-250? Well, Republicans are the problems. Like, no, we're more interested in how you just
How
one-armed
did you
that entire
physically-
truck.
Well, you understand that my
Where's the issue?
ideologies give me strength.
My ideologies.
I want to hate the guy, but
He's incredible.
sheer will.
No. So what I was going to say was, man, be praying for that kid's family. Number
Absolutely.
one, I really, really hope that they are just a good example. I mean, conservatism typically follows faith, right? In most cases, I think, more cases than the other way. But I'm hoping that they are a Christian household and that they, as hard as it will be, exhibit Christ-like qualities in this situation, because it would be very, very easy to not do that, to succumb to some anger and rage. But did you just break that?
No. Oh. It just fell out of my hand.
Did you just break my little toy unicorn?
It's true. Levi has a unicorn Dungeons and Dragons miniature. Did you just break that?
Did you just break that?
Now it's just a horse.
Yeah. Now we have to turn that into a centaur because you broke it in half.
In other news,
We put Carlor's torso.
what? Oh my gosh.
That's a little...
That's my half orc paladin. From
Yeah. Carlor,
previously
for those that
played
don't
game.
know, is not the character Jude's playing in our current... Hey!
Hey,
the last
guys.
time we recorded,
Oh yeah.
all of you that listened to episode 2 of this show, at the very end, got a sneak peek and date reveal announcement. But since that episode has come out and since we've last recorded...
That's right.
Our brand new podcast of Lore and Legend, a D&D actual play podcast with 9 Christians, all in the Christian influence community. It is premiered.
It's out there.
It's pretty exciting. And, nope, it's Sunday. I was about to say in 2 days, but for some reason I thought
Is
it was...
episode 2 not out?
No, it comes out
It comes out on Friday.
the 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like Friday.
Friday.
More like Friday.
Isn't that 2 days after this? Like the actual
Airs?
podcast
It'll be...
airs?
Yeah, 2 days.
When are we
That's what I was
recording?
thinking.
The
And-
world may never know.
Sunday.
And that's when I actually figured out how to edit stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not
Levi-
only does the quality of the sound and all that get better, but also the content. I think episode 2 really gets exciting. Not that episode 1 was bad, but episode 1's a lot of character introductions
A
and stuff
lot
like that.
yeah.
And like
bad.
everybody's excited and getting to know each other's characters and all that kind of thing. But episode 2, there's some duels, there's
Some dice are rolled.
some
Bullfighting.
damage is dealt, there's some
People
bullfighting.
die.
People do die. Yeah.
Jude hallucinates.
I guess that's true.
Not Jude's character. Jude.
I
Jude
at a table
actually
have
is
a
just
fit.
hallucinating.
He drank a little bit of
Station,
spoiled
yeah.
milk before playing, and then
That's
he started
true.
hallucinating.
I drank no fluids for 4 days straight, and then I had a gallon of spoiled milk.
Yeah.
And man,
So in the middle, I was like, Jude, I need you to roll a d20. He's like, blah.
throw milk all
And
over
then
the
he just
table.
throws up.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, it's been a lot of fun to play, number one, which we haven't played in a little while. I'd like to play soon. But also, it's been a lot of fun to kind of turn it into something, which is very cool.
How long do you think this is going to be? Our campaign. This
I don't know, man.
6
I don't want it
seasons
to
and a
be
movie.
7 years.
I would also prefer not another 7 year.
It might be a couple years. Here's the problem, though.
I was hoping for like a few months.
Wow.
It's already been a few months that we
I know.
haven't even played.
It's been a few months.
The problem is that, like, we introduced 2 more people, and as much as I love having them there, and I'm not complaining about having them there, it does introduce a couple more,
No, yeah.
you know, variables to the scheduling thing. And I mean, Matt is like never an issue. Matt's like Matt will bend over backwards to be
I
anywhere.
100% thought that was gonna. It was
Really?
Gonna be a,
Yeah. Well, he's
well,
a
I thought that
teacher,
it was
he's a
going to be
dad.
more of a problem.
It
just
might in the
because
future, but I did
he's
not.
a wife and
He's like a
father.
father
wife,
and
yeah.
an adult.
because he's
he's
a wife
got, like,
and a father.
We're all young adults, and
Responsibilities.
he's like.
Did I hear you wrong, or
He's
did you say
pushing
because
70.
he's a wife and a father?
I thought I said he's got a wife.
Oh, okay.
And a father.
Roll it back. Roll it back.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's got a wife and he's a father.
I knew it. I was
We
wrong.
rolled it back. Sorry, Luis.
I hope
Supposed to make me sound right when you rolled it back.
Oh, dude, I do get to go back, roll it back, and you did say Brian. 100%.
Wait, what?
You guys will find out like later. It's either in episode 2 or 3.
It clearly matters a lot to Jude because he remembers.
Yeah, but
said
you said
don't
said
know.
Brian
I
when
do
you were
not
trying
remember
to say
this.
Byron.
Are you sure it was unintentional? Because I call Byron Brian intentionally. I've done that before.
If you do that, then whatever. But then they're like, "Did you just call him Brian?" And then you were like, "No, I said
It
Byron."
was probably unintentional.
But you 100% did say Brian.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. I like to bully him because his hair is a different color than mine.
Wow.
No, but it's been a lot of fun. But just already we have a group that it plays inconsistently because it's difficult. But we were pretty consistent at least. And now it's just, you know.
I was just curious. Do you have like a metric of
I mean,
what do you want?
What would I want?
Do you want it to be another?
Tell me what you
seven?
want.
No.
What you really, really
I guess
want.
3 years.
I like that number.
Because in 3 years, we'll be 3 years away from 30. And
Yep,
then,
all three of us.
no, Jude will be 3 from 35. But
Wait,
Wait, you're 5 years younger than us?
well, I'm 4 years younger than you, but it's cool.
no, then Levi and I will be 3 years from 30. And if we immediately start another one that goes 3 years, we'll be ending it while we're 30.
That's pretty based and cool though.
Gross.
That's not at all the reason. I just thought of that.
It's cool though.
No, I would like to maybe do 3 years because it's a long enough period of time, but it's not 7 years like the last
Sure
one or
ain't,
8 years. We say different numbers every time, but it was at least 7, close to 8, maybe 9. No, I guess if we really do the
I'm
math,
pretty
It's
sure that it
7 to
was
9.
like,
I think it's 8.
I thought it was 8.
It's 8 for sure.
we started when we were juniors in high school, right?
Yeah.
And so that would have been 2015, and then we finished it last year, 2021. So that's 6 years. Get dunked on.
This can't be right.
There's
I
no
started
way.
playing when I was 12.
We were juniors in high school.
and you were what?
Yeah, and that
The
started
summer.
20
No, it was the summer between junior and senior year, wasn't it? No, it was the summer between sophomore and junior. So that'd be
So that's
2014.
2014.
You're right.
'Cause
The
I was
end
12.
of 2014, September 2014. And then we ended in January of this year. So it's like 7.5 years.
It's been 8 years
Seven-
of my life.
It's 7 years and 3 months.
It's been 8 years of my life.
Yeah, so it is between 7 and 8 years.
Cool.
It's been 8 years.
No, 7 years and
8
3 months.
fiscal years.
None of this matters to the listeners. It's
8
probably so boring to
driscoll
listen to.
years.
The point is, we played D&D and the same characters and a long story for over 7 years. This time, don't worry. If you are listening to that show, it shouldn't be that long. But it's going to be a lot of fun. But we waste a little bit of time talking about that.
No, it's a conversation. That's what this is. We're having conversations.
You're right. My bad.
I was just trying to gauge, like,
if
whether
we
you were looking to
if we
have
do it in, I said do.
You're so dumb. Because I was going.
You don't have to roll away, Levi. Come on.
I was gonna make the doo-doo joke, but you made it before me.
No, but it's probably going to take like 4 years for it to actually come out on the podcast, or like 5
For
years
what?
Oh yeah.
The end?
for the end.
Well, that's assuming that we don't keep playing like this. Because, like, we played consistently for like 6 sessions, and now we've taken almost a month break.
Yeah. But I'm saying,
Well, if we play consistently for 2 months and then take a 2-month break, we're still like gaining in episodes more than we're actually.
No, you're right. Because every
yeah.
session becomes about 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the future, if we get to the point where we've been consistently playing and episodes are so backed up and banked and Levi's able to keep up, we could release 2 a week.
yeah.
Or, better yet, they're really long episodes.
Yeah.
We go Critical Role style and release the entire session regardless of length.
That's based and cool. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be okay with that, but
I would too.
let us know how
It's
you
long.
feel about long form media content.
Yeah, now that you've listened to one episode, tell us what you think about if we changed everything.
No, but if we like double the length.
That's assuming the people listening to this show have listened to that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
And as we know, every episode of this now gets like 1,500 listens. So, yeah, a little update on that situation we talked about before. We had one of our episodes get like 150 views or whatever, which was insane, of Under the Influence. Mm-hmm. And then we had one get like 1,800, and they're all Amazon Alexa from the UK and Canada. And that's happened consistently now for like 2 episodes. Which I haven't checked the stats on the episode we just released, episode 2. But it's insane, dude, that keeps happening. Let me look real quick. What?
You say Jude or Dude?
Oh, yeah, it definitely happened. No, wait, am I wrong? No, I mean, it happened, but not to the crazy degree yet, but it's at 839.
Hey, if you're from the UK or Canada and you're listening to this,
yeah.
reach out
Okay.
to our social media and let us know if you're
Please
actually
do.
listening.
We really want to know if this has to be some sort of bot, like screw up or something. Because
we went from like,
and it's starting to affect our other episodes now. Like episode 1 is over 200. For a while, that was our biggest one. It was at like 150, and we always assume that's because that's when people try it out. It's funny, and then they just kind of slowly
bots go back to the first episode?
Because I recently went through every episode and put tags on each episode because we weren't doing tags for a while. So I took like 20 minutes. Well, it's just good for us. This is boring conversation, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to the listener.
Listen.
The point is, the number of people that listen to the show has never really been that important to us, and we try and make sure that it's not. The thing that's important to us is that people are listening, right? And that we get to enjoy talking to each other. And then the people that we get to interact with after the show and stuff in our Discord and talk to about the things that we talk about, that's what's important. This whole thing about crazy, crazy high numbers is just weird to us. What?
I was just glaring at Levi because he mouthed something,
Yeah,
knowing
and-
good and well that I can't read
so a
your
really,
lips.
really fun thing. I don't know if we've talked about it, but Jude cannot read lips for the life of him.
Most people can't. I can't read lips.
I feel like that's pretty normal. Sorry, you're a savant.
No. Lip something to me.
Lip something to me. See, it's so funny.
You say,
'cause
how's it going?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
I
But I
try
didn't get it
so
until like
hard.
3 seconds later.
I really do. Like, I was like, I'm going to get it. Okay, if Levi lips something
But
right
it's
now,
incredibly
I'm gonna get it.
frustrating because me and Jude sit on the opposite side of the table when we
Always.
record this,
Yeah.
and when we record D&D. So I'll like just mouth something to him, no idea what.
Jude
I'm
will just, but he won't say he can't hear you either. He'll just look at you. He'll be like,
he'll just look at me and like,
and so you don't
Either
have any
dead
idea,
in
like,
the eyes
did
or
he
angry.
Because
get
I'm,
it?
what do you want me to say back to you? I don't
He wants
know,
you to, if you understand, mouth that you did.
but I never do. So you'd think at some point it'd catch on.
No, that's a good point.
I've never been able
It does
to.
sound like the onus might be back.
it's
on
just
Levi.
incredibly frustrating because I can mouth to the rest of the people at the table and everybody understands me.
Jeez, Levi,
Excuse
just
me.
let one out.
Sorry,
They
got a
keep
little.
going.
Whoa! I think if I could see your tongue, it would help.
Okay, show your tongue while you do it.
Okay, well, that was very clearly hello.
Yeah.
Wow,
Pick
you
words
did
that
it.
are not obvious.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you
I don't
said.
know what you said because
Wait, try it again. Try it again.
I'm a doo-doo head.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
I'm a doo-doo
I
head.
did not get it. I thought you said you're too loud.
I literally have to mouth it in like
You know what's funny?
slow-mo.
Like a slow.
For the listener, we could just be like scribbling down on a piece of paper to each other.
Absolutely.
And we're like, wait, no, mouth it real quick. You're saying this isn't Kansas anymore. How did you get that?
He wrote
Or
it
are we
down.
in Kansas anymore?
No, that was actually a pretty good victory for me. So anytime you want to give me a message, if you just want to like
Ew,
really
man.
mouth it.
Ugh. What's in your mouth?
Oh my goodness. Keys and metal.
Oh, I started it again.
Jeez. Did you guys hear about that teacher in Canada?
Which one?
Come on, man. That might be a little bit too much.
Yeah, that is a bit.
This isn't our
Well, that
conservative
teacher
talk
in
show
Canada was a
podcast.
bit too much.
That's
so-
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my
It just
goodness.
blows me away that like Canada, really in general.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Canada.
We have some Canadian listeners, actually. And I'm not just talking about the Amazon Echo ones, but
it. Is
Well, good thing I just
mind-boggling
didn't like
to-
throw down against Canada.
Well, I'm
tried to
gonna,
get ahead of
going
you.
to anyway. Listen, all you Canadian listeners.
no, Canada is
cold?
unfortunately. I feel bad for
it
a lot
cold
of
up there?
people. A lot of the what?
Is it cold up there in Canada?
Is it cold up there in Canada?
Tom Cruise. It ain't down here in sunny Oregon. So
No,
think
it-
about that next time.
yeah.
Shh, quiet.
Fire.
No, is it not just crazy that like it's such a blatant disregard for the rules?
Yeah.
What are the?
I
rules?
saw. I did see a green text post. No idea if it's got like anything, but what if in this post they were talking about like this guy was saying it as if it was true
Yeah.
that like this person had been like speaking out like in non like okay things like talking about like conservative values and things in class until they got to the point where they were like gonna be fired, so they just went super hard the other way and now the school can't
they are
do
a
anything
shop
against
teacher.
them.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, but
You'd think some things would get in the way there.
They did. I've seen videos.
I've only seen photos.
Yeah,
I've
it's-
only seen the
Luckily,
one
I
photo.
haven't been
I've been
cursed.
avoiding it like the plague.
Well,
because
I
don't
watched
need to
the
have
Matt
more
Walsh
scars.
show. Man, we're really outing
Walsh.
ourselves here this episode.
It's not like anybody that listens doesn't
No.
know that we are primarily rooted in like some conservative values.
Well, we
except
have
for
to because we
me.
literally had an episode called "Integrity and the Alphabet," where we referred to the LGBTQ plus community as the alphabet.
That's
community.
true, and I'm
we've
down
gotten
to
some
talk
flack
about
for that. Some,
Wait, did we actually
down
get?
to-
Oh yeah, from one of the people in this room, actually.
That's not kind of. It is true, kind of.
No, it's.
I don't like it.
When we say the alphabet people?
Yeah, I had this conversation with him when we were at home.
Yeah.
We lived together
Oh, okay.
because we're brothers.
You could have said something to me.
Well, during the podcast, I was processing my feelings, and I was like, "Do I?" Okay, immediately, I don't like this. Why do I not like it? I was just kind of thinking about it. And I just wasn't going to waste time like
no
working through that. What I wasn't sure of myself out loud. Just felt like No, but my reasoning for it is I was trying to present. I was talking about relationships I've had, platonic, with people who are members of that community. I mean, goes without saying.
Yeah.
But
What a
listen,
man! I'm
making a
glad
good
you got
point.
that disclaimer out of the way. Relationships I've had with
I
the
can't say words.
LGBTQ
If I
plus
say
community.
words
Well, don't
like-
worry, they're platonic.
If I say words like intimate, people immediately, this guy, I'm pointing to my brother Jerry.
What?
I can't use that word because
No,
he's immediately like,
That's
oh,
a bit. That's a joke.
Whatever. Anyway,
Kinda
I
like
was
how-
talking about that episode.
Well, he takes it to heart, apparently. Like
I do. I take it to heart.
I
to
take it.
heart.
That
take it
episode,
to
I was
heart.
making a meaningful point. I feel
Yeah.
like about relationships I've had with these people, and
Platonic.
it just didn't. Platonic. It just didn't feel conducive
Yeah.
to the change that I wanted to see. To be referring to these people after I make a statement that's like, I do love and care about them, to then disregard whether it's wrong or right. They place a large, if not their entirety, of like being in this community, right? The LGBTQ blah, blah, blah community.
We talked about that, how like the
Yeah.
whole issue itself is wrapped up in identity, which makes it really hard to talk to them about.
That is
right?
part of
Because-
the issue, yeah. Like that people, I completely make their entire person, their entire being, a member of this community. And so, whether that's wrong or right, to just flagrantly say, well, the alphabet people, after I had made a point to be like, I do care about, everyone.
Yeah, well, and it's also where I disagreed with you a little bit was it's also about intention and stuff like that. Like we weren't making a joke about them.
It is a joke.
It is funny,
It's a joke.
but the point was we were also just saying. I guess it is a joke about.
joke.
The difference is it's not a joke about the people necessarily. It's just a joke about how
It's a continuously expanding
because
name.
the existence of their terminology for their group LGBTQ plus or whatever, the existence of that terminology is a joke, and they make it one because it's constantly being added to, taken away from.
That's a
added
weird
to,
umbrella statement.
because obviously because the whole worldview is. I mean, I'll make a crazy statement here, kind of ridiculous, because it's so wrapped up in like whatever my mind believes is true. That whole kind of like manifestation, right? And so. Because there's that thing like because like you can't ever, ever come close to being able to recite the entire verse that is the full thing.
I think it's like LGBTQIA, and then there's I think two more, and I'm not being disingenuous.
LGBTQIA plus, and then there's a couple more after the plus sometimes.
And there's no like globally like confirmed. Hey, this is what it is.
Right, but I understand.
Some people add and some people
But because
don't.
there's so many variations, then they chalk it up to like, well, as long as you include, well, who gets to decide what the 5 or whatever that are the ones before the plus? Like, what are all the people that don't fall into those? Those poor guys
Yeah,
are just
the
relegated
demi-
to a plus.
I understand that. It is
I'm joking, obviously, but
yeah.
no, I mean, I think for me originally when we were doing it, and the reason I didn't feel bad then was just because the existence of the terminology itself is a joke, or it is humorous.
It's not. That's totally untrue. That's totally untrue to say that they view it that way.
I'm definitely not saying they view
Well,
it
then
that way.
what makes it a joke? What's the joke?
The joke, I mean, by saying a joke, it is inherently humorous.
To you, humor is subjective.
I mean, even to a large,
Yeah, I'm not saying you're the only person that finds it.
no, I'm saying even in people in the community itself, it's funny. It's funny how.
So it's a joke to them, which I disagree with,
Okay.
right? I mean, that's what you're saying. If it's humorous to the people in the community,
I'm not saying to all of them, but yeah, there are certainly people that it is humorous to.
yeah, it can be humorous. I was just saying in that instance, I don't think it's terribly funny, the alphabet people thing. Like I get it, right? The logical jump, and it makes sense. It's like you're following a constructed path of humor. It's an expanding list of letters. There's the alphabet. You call them the alphabet people. Blah, blah, blah. I get it. Like I get the numbers of it. I just don't find it that funny. It's kind of like maybe it's just not. I don't find it funny.
Yeah, I mean, the
But
point we
the
landed on that
humor
we
is-
agreed on was that whether you think doing it is okay or not, or like that they shouldn't be offended by it, or that you should be allowed to make the joke, the point that I think you and I agreed on was that regardless of all of that, if our intention with the message was to try and reach them, or the whole point of that conversation was about having integrity while talking to them, right? And,
Yeah.
and showing them love, while still having kind of a firm hand with beliefs and what is important. And this is something that could just entirely give them the ammunition they need to disregard everything you're saying.
Yes, that was my big thing.
Then why do it, right? If you can sacrifice a little bit of giggles when talking about them, in order to keep them from having the ammunition they need to be able to completely disregard, then you are not giving them something trivial that they can use. Instead, if they're going to disregard it, they're disregarding it based off of content that is sound.
Yeah, my point was that anytime you're in any form of conversation with someone that holds beliefs that are contrary to yours, which is happening anytime one of us is talking to someone who's a member of that community or identifies as that community, they're going to have beliefs that are contradictory to beliefs I have. Which you could say that's every conversation, but I think you understand the nuance I'm talking about. Anytime you're having a conversation with someone like that who has any form of beliefs that don't align with yours, there is a temptation to argue, and then there's a temptation to make weak statements. Like, if I see a small hole in your argument, I'm going to try and point it out.
Right.
So when I'm on that episode, trying to speak to people because it's a public platform, and maybe hoping, oh, maybe they'll hear this and they can understand my point of view, right? And I can be absolutely so protective of being even perceived as hostile just because this point is important enough to me that I can afford to do that. I don't want to make a joke that could be, even if people do find it funny, that someone could hear that and it would immediately turn them off of the point I made. Whether they're justified in doing that or not, I don't want to make that joke.
Yeah, and there's obviously some nuance because you are aware of this one, right? But there's probably some where you're not even going to be aware that you said something that you probably shouldn't have. And in the grand scheme of things, in the grand calculus of the multiverse, this will not be the first time we say something that we, at least whether some of us or all of us or whatever, go back on it and go, well, shouldn't have said that. Actually, it's not the first time for me. There have been other episodes where I'm like, I don't really like the way I said that or what I said specifically. And I also don't think that episode, there's nowhere close to anything so severe that we need to bring it down or we even need to do anything like that. Because I am of the opinion that it wasn't wrong, but that it just, if our actual intention behind that episode was to try and talk to, well, because the purpose was we were talking to specifically other believers about the way we conduct ourselves with people that are living in sin like this, then okay, we should have done it differently. But I also don't think that we did anything wrong necessarily.
No, but I think it may have been
it was just
wrong
less effective
if I did it, which I can't remember if I said it or not. I think I did when I was just like echoing in the conversation. The reason that it definitely, I'm not going to say that because it could be an infinitely minute, small thing, but because I've thought about it, like there's going to be things we say that we don't realize or, you know, wrong, or maybe could be perceived that way. But because I do realize it and I'm thinking about it, anytime I would say it, I would feel like, man, this could be taken out, you know, in a rude way. It could be taken that way, even if it's not inherently rude.
Yeah, I mean that was my point when we first talked about it. Was I was like, well, it's in how it's taken. It's not at all in the words being used.
Yes, but for me, and the point I was trying to make, then it would be wrong because I would feel convicted by it. It's kind of a conviction issue in this regard, I think.
Well, think about like where the Bible talks about that's talking about believers to believers though, specifically, but no, it doesn't matter what I was going to say. But I just realized the hole in what I was going to say.
Yeah. I was going to try and catch you on it. It's going to be like, actually.
Well, no, I was going to say something in agreement with you.
Never mind. Go ahead and say it. I mean, I can turn a blind eye.
Man, you just assumed that I was going to use the Bible and try and disagree with you.
Just kidding. Wow.
We are brothers after all.
In Christ and in flesh.
Yeah.
Grafted spiritually and physically together.
I know we've talked about that. That's something totally, I mean, to go
your brothers?
in a totally different direction.
Incredible.
I mean, yes, but to go in a totally different direction real quick. Lately, not lately, I guess, but sometimes when I think about that, it is, there are certain, okay, I'm all over the place. There are certain things that when you think about them, and I think they're a little different for everybody, but sometimes you can agree on them. And Jude and I have occasionally, and I can't think of any example, but occasionally we'll be like, do you ever just think about this and it feels like your mind is beginning to like drift and expand in a weird way, like how we're one person, and then there's other people that live and never really think about the fact that they're one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to describe.
Existential
It's like a weird,
ideas.
phenomenon where you start thinking in a way where you're like, ouch, And one of the ways every now and then, it's just like a topic that I think about and it makes my brain kind of do that a little bit. It's just like trying to wrap my mind around the infinite more importance, I guess, there is on the fact that you and I are brothers in Christ and we are brothers in blood. Do you know what I mean?
Elaborate.
Well, it was brought up on episode 12 of season 1 where I was talking about mom.
Oh.
But it was just about like how when I was talking about mom and saying like the reason why I had to take a bit of a different stance and everything and things needed to be different was because she may be my mom, right? And it's really easy to be like, well, the most important thing is the fact that we're blood and I should never do anything that could hurt her because we're blood. The most important
thing is family, right?
Yeah. But then you think, well, wait a second. No, the Bible tells us that we are even above the fact that she is blood related to me. We are related to each other, in the body of Christ, in we are believers. And she is my sister in Christ first before she is my mother, And so if the Bible tells me to to, talk to a fellow believer in a specific way, or it was that whole discussion. It doesn't need to be drudged up again, I guess. But when you said that, those are the types of things that make me go, man. It makes me in an instant like reevaluate ways maybe I've treated you even recently, or like things I've said that I'm like, man, if I had first considered that Jude was my brother in Christ rather than the fact that I'm like, Jude is my brother, would I have done things differently in the last week? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that is weird or not, but it's just when you said it, I was like, I just had, because whenever that thought hits me, I go, oh, okay, yeah, my siblings are my siblings, but first and foremost, they are members of the body of Christ. So would I have treated them or said certain things, or should I have said things to them and not given them a pass in some ways, but because they're family, like related, like blood family, I did, or whatever.
Yeah, I've had the exact same thought, the exact same thought pertaining to how much my earthly father, my dad, how much I love him and the relationship I have with him, and then how first God is my father, and that's means that our dad is second in that kind of aspect, and it's such a dynamic relationship because it's super great to think about when you're just like having a great relationship with God. It's like, yes, my heavenly father, but then it's a really convicting idea when you're like, when I start to think about, man, I love my father. I just catered with him last night, and I realized like I'm very fortunate to be able to call my father my friend. And I'm best friends with my father, and he's someone I can just hang out with and enjoy my time around him with. And then it's convicting to think, oh man, and even before that is my relationship with God. And am I putting that on the same pedestal as a relationship with my father, which is not something you usually think about comparing because they're both positive relationships. But it usually, I'll have that kind of outside myself, like, oh man, before my physical father, there is my heavenly father. And it's usually a convicting, but then immediately like, oh man, I'm excited and I'm happy. I'm pleasant to be found in conviction because it means, man, I get to work on this relationship.
Yeah.
Which that might not be the most theologically sound statement I've ever made, but I think you get the intention of it. That I'm happy to be found in conviction.
It's like when you are in conviction and you're not ashamed of it in a way. You're like, oh, this is something. It's like it's revelation of, I now get to start an experience of growth.
Yeah,
right.
I should rephrase it because this isn't. I've talked a lot about areas of my life where I screw up consistently or mess up, but this usually hits me when I'm in a steady walk or even a really good walk with Christ, and then. This happened to me last night. That's why it's on my mind. Because I had so much fun last night catering with our dad. Like, I just really had a genuinely fun time. I was riffing with him, making jokes with him. And then on the drive home, I was thinking like, oh man, this relationship I have with him that I so thoroughly and intensely, like every fiber of my being, I enjoy it and I love it to the utmost definition of what love is. I love it. And I could be having more of this with God. Like it opens my eyes to the idea that's like, oh man, there are areas of my life, in every area of my life where I can be having a relationship with God. Maybe I'm not. And it's not necessarily like super critical things. It's just even in my recreational life. Like I always have this father with me, this really intense friend with me that, I don't know, it's just a really pleasant thought to be like, oh man, I can grow here. And there's more I can experience with Christ here. In this friendship, in this fatherhood with him.
Well, thank goodness the three of us have dads who are. I don't know what that sounded like.
Well, thank goodness. I was like, did I forget?
Your dad is gay. No, that between the three of us here, we have two dads.
Yep. Wait.
That.
Made me think.
That are, I think, good examples of, in a way, who are such good fathers to us that it leaves us feeling convicted about whether or not we have the relationship, or we are putting God in the right position in our lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah, putting God first.
Putting God first, right?
And for me, because I'm so just the way my head works is very matter of fact. Like that my initial reaction is like, I don't like that. It's like, why my dad who raised me? Because I see him.
Yeah, but even in the moments that he wasn't.
No,
Not
I know.
to say that he didn't, but I mean, because he's human, even in the moments that he failed and that he wasn't, there was one that was.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. It's just an idea I think is easy to slip into as humans, but it's just, I see my father every day. I've known him my entire life. And sometimes it's easier to see him.
Yeah, well, it is.
Whether or not it's, because of myself or not. But then I realize, that's such a good thing to have God first. It's so much better, which is saying nothing negative against my father. It's that parents aren't perfect.
Yeah.
And they love you, but they make mistakes, and God doesn't. It's like, oh man, I should want that first. Why would I?
Yeah.
Why would my gut reaction be like, oh well, I want my daddy?
Yeah,
first.
it's harsh. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's like he can and he will fail.
Yeah, and I think
that's the point. And when I found myself saying that, and I go, man, I feel bad for saying that. And then I realized, you know what? No, someday if I have a son someday, I would certainly hope that I can hear my son say, you know what, Dad, you screw up sometimes, but I know that even when you screw up, God never will.
To know that my son has that relationship with Christ. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I would hope that my son, and I'm not necessarily saying that we are doing that perfectly all the time, and our dad can look at us and say that, but it does give me a little bit of comfort knowing, well, hopefully it doesn't hurt Dad's feelings too much to say that, he will mess up, but God never will, and so we really should be putting.
You know what, Dad? First. You're not God.
Yeah.
You're still human.
Yeah.
I think he knows that.
Yeah, our dad's made so many mistakes. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, mistake number one.
If anybody,
This guy.
for those that can't see, you pointed at me. His first mistake out of 5.
It's a joke.
Do people have we ever talked about that? How you and I have 3 siblings? Nope. There's 5 kids in our.
That you have 3
sure, it's been
brothers.
mentioned.
Maybe.
We both have.
Sometimes people find that crazy, but I have a feeling that a lot of the people that listen to our podcast regularly don't find it so crazy that families can be that large.
Yeah.
Homeschool families. I can say that because we were.
Full quiver. It says that in the Bible.
Yes, it does.
Your quiver is to be full.
Your dad has talked about that
My
a lot.
dad references that verse a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we just adopted 6 new children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jude did actually.
I adopted.
You know that little, we've referenced it
Single
before.
father.
Jude lives in a little shack. Now in mine, it's me and I have a dog.
gonna
And
announce
then
this
in
now?
the other one, Jude, and he's
Okay.
running a
I've
little
been
orphanage
working all
for
summer.
6
In his shack.
Haitian orphans.
I've been
Even
working all
though Jerry's
summer.
shack is
I
times
got
and a
my
half
woodworking.
his shack.
I've been working on my woodworking. I took a auxiliary class in Canada for woodworking, and I learned how to build.
That's how we got our Canadian viewers.
Yeah. Well, and how I learned about a certain teacher. And I built these shacks outside mine, and
That
now
was
I've
the
got
callback.
6 mini homes for these children I've adopted. I was gonna.
For those listening, that was probably a good example of when things are so serious that they are real.
Yeah.
And
I was
what I
trying to
just
think
said
of-
is an example of when I am being so serious that I'm not. So,
I was trying to think of funny names, but I can't tell if that would be insensitive or not.
maybe we just,
Abandon the bit.
yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Before we later have to examine this episode like we just examined the alphabet episode.
that's a good point. I need to be more.
Season 3,
insightful.
episode 5, the one where we talk about Jude joking about 6 Haitian orphans. And
Let's
Jude
go over
goes,
all our deleted episodes.
it wasn't a joke, Jerry. It doesn't matter if some people find it humorous. It's not a joke. Why are you saying it's a joke?
Yeah, I get
There's a little glimpse into the future for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, hang
Even
on.
though
the sound
Jude was
effects
the
are
one
on.
that
Actually,
said-
not a joke.
Let's teleport back in time again. All right, we're back.
Where do we teleport?
Why did you do a Ben Shapiro impression?
I thought it felt natural to go in that direction.
I heard it. It was one of those things where I was talking and I heard it in the background, and so I just kept going. And then after I stopped talking, the last 10 seconds of stuff that happened around me caught up to my brain.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second, what? Did I hear a Ben
You
Shapiro?
know I like bench. I like. Wait. You know I like impressions. I love doing impressions. So if I find a way,
You can say you like Ben Shapiro. That's not a crazy
well,
thing to
I
say.
don't like Ben Shapiro.
Really?
Yeah.
I
have some
fine with him.
theological disagreements with him.
Well,
A
he
pretty
is.
glaring one.
Isn't he Hasidic Jew?
I don't think he's Hasidic, but he's definitely a Jew.
He is definitely a Jew.
Well,
Which is fine.
Yeah, you don't need to say it's fine.
Yeah, the way you're saying it, jeez. You mean, yeah. He doesn't recognize some
Christ
important
was the
Protestant.
returned.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Jesus was the returned God.
It's interesting to hear him
Human
talk
flesh.
about it, actually.
Because he's a very learned man.
Yeah. And he entirely respects it. That's what I find interesting.
Protestant faith?
Well, in a specific type of way. I don't know if he probably is kind of like, they're idiots in some ways, but when you hear him talk about it publicly, he's usually like, no, I'm in full support. Like he goes, you should be more faithful.
Yeah,
Like you
'cause every
should be, if you are a Christian, he's like, don't stop being a Christian. And which is interesting because you might want him to, you might hear him say, or someone like him say, like, stop being a Christian and come do what I do. But like, he's usually of the opinion, at least publicly, like, don't stop doing it. Be better at it, which I think is very cool.
I mean, I think because in most parts he's talking to a large crowd, usually that aren't super religious. And it's the same way.
Or a large crowd where he knows most of them are like, quote, quote, Christians.
Yeah. In the same way, I would probably respond to a large group of people and someone presents the fact it's like, hey, there are a lot more like really small Catholic, churches being built over the U.S. Catholicism is spreading. We see a lot of people that are like going to church, and even though it's not necessarily what I believe, it's like, yeah, that's probably a good thing for America and for the world in general. It's like I would like to see people exhibit more religious fundamental beliefs and be more religious. I just want them in the right one.
Yeah.
I don't think Judaism is the right one.
No.
I don't feel very.
My family used to know a guy that he would do like full like Abrahamic like sacrifice stuff
Of animals?
for their sins. Yeah.
Did he have an altar?
Yeah, I think it was a
Was it bronze?
stone altar in his backyard.
Lame, but dude, it's not lame. Well, it is lame.
Why is my immediate reaction that is super cool?
Because it's kind of cool.
Okay.
Not necessarily good. Probably not good.
Well, I think he's just missing a few fundamental purposes of Christ's sacrifice.
I can think of one big one.
Yeah.
Christ's sacrifice.
Yeah. Thanks for repeating what I said.
The death of Jesus.
Yeah.
And resurrection. It's kind of important too.
But it was
being
like
a lamb and everything.
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
This is.
I mean, it is cool.
Doing
It's
and he would
cool
do
in a
like
way.
the different types of sacrifices based on like what he needed.
How old was
Yeah.
he?
I honestly don't know. I was like
411.
Oh, well, that explains it. His name was Methuselah.
No, it's cool in like the same way that that those things online like My Strange Addiction or whatever is cool, but in like a
What?
Christian way. Well, when you watch those and you're like, and you're like, that's kind of funny. But like in like a Christian way, this is kind of cool because you're like, whoa, this guy.
I guess it's in the maybe.
And it's like in the same,
it's more like
wheelhouse of thinking.
cool, like the Crusades were cool.
It's cool like the
Well-
Crusades. Well, the Crusades are cool in a very, very fragile bubble that if you look into, it's like maybe they weren't cool. It's very cool in its own little sealed off bubble. It's like, oh, some men were fighting for God.
I'm in the middle of this, and I know I'm in the middle of two drastically opposing views.
No, we
can
are
tell.
super close. I
really?
just am not willing to bite.
It sounded like you're not willing to be the one that says it.
personally,
You're just waiting for Levi to say it.
I really think they're cool.
Oh no,
Dude,
I don't know
Whether
enough
or
about
not they
him-
were
about him.
right,
man,
we might disagree on Levi and I.
just
But whether or
having
not they're
that
cool-
okay.
I think Levi's just more willing to make sweeping statements about things like that than you are,
That's fair.
which is surprising because usually I'm the one that you're like, Jerry, just quit not saying this. You know what I mean?
There's been a lot of things this
There's a
episode that I've not
gradual-
said.
There's
That's-
a gradual like I'm the one that she was like that we're not allowed to say something like that, and she was like, we're not allowed to say that.
It's the golden ratio.
Yeah, and then it
like,
gets to Levi, and then Levi would be
What
like,
is that
man,
word for things you can't say?
killing people because they're not Christians is awesome.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't because they were not Christians. It was
I
because
don't
they
know.
were specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Doing
But wait, when I just don't clip that soundbite of me. I was pretending to be a cartoonishly hyperbolic version of Levi.
Clip it, guys.
Clip it, guys. I
Send
want
it
to hear
everywhere.
sound bites.
Well, it's almost 3:15, and we gotta get to church.
Yeah, we're gonna be late for church.
What's the time?
and we're at like 54 minutes.
54 minutes? What do you, real quick.
What?
Go ahead.
Levi, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, dude, there's so many incarnations of little Levi
Astronaut,
that I keep thinking
policeman,
about.
space guy.
Space guy.
Dude, I wanted to be a whatever the people that like study dinosaur fossils.
Okay,
Paleontologist.
that's really cool.
Dude,
Isn't that what that is?
I think
it
so.
was super dope. I
There's
thought
probably
that,
more
smart.
specific.
I thought that was human.
Oh,
human?
Paleontology.
Oh, you're right.
Paleontology was like human stuff.
Dinosaur
I'm
bone
not very
guy.
smart.
Jerry, what about you? What do you want to do when you grow up? Be in a wheelchair.
There's nothing I want more.
When I get old, I want to be in a wheelchair.
What do I want to be when I?
What do you
grow
want to
up?
have? What do you want to do? What's your dream job?
I want to be a husband and a father.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, don't roll your eyes at me.
Okay.
Well, you want a job?
I'll
Like,
speak for us all.
No, hang
we
on.
all want to be good men of God, right? We want to be.
yes,
husbands and
that's what I was
fathers.
going to get at.
So
But then
maybe
you rolled your
Levi-
eyes at me.
Levi might want to be a.
I mean, my actual dream job.
Levi wants to kill people in the name of God.
I mean, I mean, if you know,
Yes, well done. on
if
that
it was
one.
actually like Jesus and not just like the Pope being like, "Yo, do whatever you want," it was like
What?
actually from God. Then
The hotel?
what?
The
What
hotel?
about you, Jerry?
The hotel?
You want to be a loving husband and father?
I would like to be a godly man and a loving husband and father.
How about work occupation?
Okay, but like,
But that's
if-
what.
if you could
What did
choose-
I misunderstand the assignment?
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
You mean
it's
occupation?
a grade school question.
yeah. Like, what's your grade
Levi
school
didn't
answer?
give a grade school answer.
Yes, he said.
I did!
He said a guy who
guy
researches
that
dinosaur
researched
bones.
dinosaur
That is
fossils.
literally such a great school answer. There's nothing wrong with that.
What did you think?
I asked him and he went, dinosaur bone guy. Did
I want to be dinosaur bone guy.
He gave.
Okay, no, I have one. I
give
have
a-
one. I have one.
Elementary school.
So let me transport back to
What
third
do you
grade
want to
me.
be when you grow up?
I want to be a writer.
Like of horses or?
No.
Oh, you want to write?
A lot of kids are probably like, I just want to ride on things.
I would like to be a writer of rhinoceros and giraffe and
rhino.
I want to be a dinosaur writer.
No, I would like to write things.
That is very cool and based.
Like about horses,
No, I don't care about horses.
rhinoceros, giraffe.
I'm not like other girls, Levi.
I want to be a pig writer.
Jude, hey,
I want to be
little
a
buddy.
pig writer.
Welcome back to third grade. The question of the day today for you, little guy, little buddy guy.
Quick tangent. I was homeschooled in third grade, like you guys.
So
Wait, have we never talked about this?
Wait a minute.
we
Save it
have-
for
no, we
the
have talked
next
about this.
episode where we'll talk about.
Oh yeah,
it
I remember
on
seeing
air.
you there at homeschool.
That's right.
It was really weird.
Yeah, we all
Jude.
went to the same homeschool.
Little guy, little boy, buddy.
Baby boy.
When you grow up, what do you want to be?
I want to be. I know what I want to be. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to be a serial killer, don't you?
Yeah, he's giving up
Based on the face you're
I want to capture dogs.
You want to be a dog catcher?
No, I want to be a writer and a history teacher.
making. All right.
I want to write historical fiction.
What I was going to say earlier before your tangent, Jude, because we were running out of time, was we've been a little all over the place this episode. Most of the, I guess, maybe constructive discussion we've had has been like a little, what is it, retrospective? Is that the right word?
And introspective.
And introspective, but about ourselves in the past. Is there anything that we want to leave people with right before we hit an hour on this episode? And before we
opposite of interest?
race north to get to church?
It's not a question everyone thinks about, but it's a pretty easy question. Are you putting God first?
Okay.
Are you putting God first? Even beyond things that you want to think about, like your parents or your siblings.
I'll say, oh, go ahead, Levi. I don't want to accidentally take yours.
My mind just went blank.
That's right. I would say, my mind just went blank. Sorry, Jude. Go. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, I already said one.
My mind actually did go blank. I had one.
Do you want me to write this one out?
I would say, my mind just went blank.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, while you were talking, I was like, oh, good, he didn't take mine. I have one. And this is entirely my fault because then I made a joke and was like, Levi, I don't want to take yours here. What did we talk about? What did we talk about?
All right, well, guys, listeners.
No, it was really good.
Creeps who like to listen
was really
to our
important.
conversations. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a good one. And as always,
I had a really good thing to say.
well, then remember.
Roll the outro.
Wait a minute. Don't you record? You can always just like, oh, what was it you wanted to say, Jerry? And then we'll edit in what you wanted to say.
You can add it in there.
No, what did we talk about today?
Dude,
we talked about
calling the LGBTQ
I remembered
community. Okay.
it was consider this. Are you willing to give up things that you may not see as wrong? And you might see them as generally innocent, but are you willing to give them up if it means you can be more effective in serving God?
Yeah.
There you go.
Boom.
That was a good one.
I'll give myself a clap for that.
That's a good one. Yikes.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
Levi, did you have anything?
No. Yeah.
Cool. Well, now we're actually going to end it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I know that this one was a little all over the place. As you can tell, we haven't recorded in a little while, and everything I did want to talk about, we didn't talk about at all. But that's okay, because that means next time we have something to talk about. And I think everything we talked about I enjoyed the conversation. So thank you for listening.
Good episode.
I think so. Well, sometimes when we think they're good, nobody says anything about them. And sometimes when we think they're bad, everybody loves them. So we are glad that we have each other to talk to, and we are glad that we have you to talk to. So I will say right here at the end, if you enjoyed the episode and you enjoyed the discussion and you want to be a part of it, join us on the primary place where our community is hosted on Discord at discord.gg/Christian Influence. If you go there, you'll find a channel called Under the Influence. You can get involved in the discussion. You can tell us what you think about the show. You can give us suggestions of topics and throw us some questions. We'd love to read them. And also, we got a prayer request section, and we would love to pray for you. So let us know how we can pray for you and talk with us. And you know what? We play video games every so often, and we do it there. And you can play some video games with us sometime if you'd like.
Yep.
What are we laughing about?
Nothing. I'm just waiting. No, I'm just waiting.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for listening. We love you very much.
Roll the outro.
Oh, he stole it from you.
I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
That's a good one.